instead of making yet another like year TBR that I'm never going to meet and follow, this time we're doing it a little bit differently. Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video I'm going to be talking about my 2024 reading plans. And this may be a bit late, you're saying, as we're already about a month in. And I actually did mean to do this video sooner, because I've already kind of started this, but we're going to do it anyway, and I'm going to talk about some of the different categories of books that I'm going to be focusing on. Because as I've talked about, I am doing, kind of jumping in the movement of read your shelves, because I do have a ridiculous amount of books, and my ratio of read to unread is not good. So focusing on things I own physically this year is the really big focus. And so as a part of that, I have some different kind of categories that I fit. And you'll see, thinking about things I've been reading recently, you'll definitely see kind of where they can fit in. But we're going to talk about what those are. And I have just a couple examples. By no means are these specific or even things I'm going to be doing first. Just these are kind of the different categories. And pretty much everything I'm reading, if not basically everything, should be falling into one of these categories for the most part, with maybe, some different things going on, but that's why this is pretty broad. So anyway, let's jump in. So the first is just kind of random books I have that I don't know a ton about, that I just need to try and see if I want to keep. A lot of these may be standalones. Like, for example, what I'm reading right now is Snakewood by Adrian Selby, that I picked this up. I have this book. I didn't know a ton about it. I know it's supposed to be super dark, and I've heard about this author, but just need to give it a shot, and I'm getting through. I think I'm like a third of the way through here as well. And then another example of that would be Solari by Michael Johnston. There's 2 books out that I have. I think there might be another one by this point. I know very little about this, but it's one of those random books I probably got on Book Outlet, I think, and that I don't know a ton about and need to just give a shot to. With these as well, too, the thing I'll note is I do plan on multi-formatting where possible as well. So I'm focusing on things that I own physically, but like for Snakewood, actually, my library had the ebook and the audiobook. So I have been reading the physical book during the day, the ebook at night before bed, like when I'm doing my in-bed reading, and then if I'm doing something like driving or whatever that I can't actually read, audiobook it goes. So that should help me get through quick. And so I'm going to try and do that for as many of these as I can, although it'll to varying degrees with it possible. But that's part of the random books, at least. I'm selecting a little bit more that way as well. And then a very big one, and one of the reasons I'm really excited to focus on reading things I have is continuing or just reading series that I've had that I've wanted to get to for a long time that I just haven't for whatever reason. So this includes things like the Second Chronicles of Thomas Covenant, where I have been meaning to read these books for literally a couple of years now, and I've just not gotten to it. I even ended up upgrading to these UK paperback copies over the mass markets that I had, still haven't gotten to them. So I really, really want to get to this series. It's just been on the list for far too long at this point. And then I really, really wanted to get to Shadow March this last year, by Tad Williams. It's just a 4-book series, and heck, there's this, and Austin Art will probably be finished by the time I get to it too. So, there's lots of options, obviously there, but those are some other things I'll be focusing on. Just series that I wanted to get to, that have been on my TBR that I don't seem to be able to get to with it. In that same vein, continuing series that I have started and just have not gotten around to continuing yet. I have not an insane amount, but too many ongoing series. So this will include things like Discworld, which I actually just got done reading, the Discworld book that comes right before The Hogfather, and so that was a great time, and I just enjoyed getting back to Discworld. It's been too long. And things like Return of the Griffin, book 2 of Hybrid Helix by J.C.M. Byrne. I really enjoyed Blissful Ascending. Very much looking forward to continuing, and I just haven't gotten to it yet. So yeah, another thing that I just kind of need to do. Some other things include just going to kind of the little bit older backlist series that I'm interested to try. Now, obviously, Recluse fits into that category, and that was one of them that I pulled out. I'm like, hey, I have several of these mass market paperbacks. I should give this series a shot. Some other things this includes is Vlad Taltos by Stephen Brust. And this I don't know a ton about either, but I have this is the Book of Jarog, which is the first 3 books in this series. I have 2 other bind-ups that have like 2 or 3 in each. So between these bind-ups, which aren't crazy long for having multiple books. I have 3 different omnibuses of this series, and I really need to try it and see if it's something that I like. So definitely on there as well. And then Lord of the Isles by David Drake. There's another one. I had the first 2 books in hardcover. This is a really pretty shiny hardcover too. Look at that. And this is another one where it's a little bit older. I really don't know anything about it at all, but I'm interested to try because I like my old school classic fantasy, and I've collected a lot of these, and I tend to like them. It's just because kind of old school classic fantasy stuff tends to be my thing. And I mean, granted, this is from I think late 90s. I don't know when Vlad Taltos is from. There are a lot of them, but I don't think it's crazy old. 80s, yeah. So 80s, this one 90s, so, and I think Recluse, which I just started, was like 90s or so too, so yeah, just getting the stuff that's not the most new current stuff, a little more niche maybe, but stuff that I tend to enjoy, and I'm excited to do more of those. Then of course, since I haven't talked about it yet, I do still have review copies, and I have unfortunately stopped accepting review copies at this time because that was also part of what I felt like last year. Especially the last 6 months of the year, I just felt like I had so many review copies, and I didn't have time to get to so many things that I wanted to because I had agreed to do review copies. So I'm very much I had been slowing down on them, and I've kind of just stopped at this point. So I don't have a crazy list, but I have probably 10 to 15 review copies that I still need to get to, hopefully within the next several months, but I started saying it was going to be a long while before I got to things, and at this point I have no idea when I'll actually finish, which is why I stopped accepting new ones. This includes things that like Ascendant, she's book 1 of Songs of Chaos, and I have all 3 of these by Michael R. Miller, which beautiful naked hardcover. These are such beautiful books, which I hope to get to soon, and such things like The Bloodstones by Tori Tekken, which this one I just recently got the copy of. Although it's been one I've been looking forward to for quite some time. So it's another one that definitely looking forward to getting to. I just don't know when I'll get to some of these because I have way too many review copies. And of course there is, and I talked about a lot of these in a video I did kind of, I think in November of last year, which was talking about self-pub that I intended to get to. And that's a very long list as well that I have a ton left here. And so a couple of things there that are included in that list: Curse the Fallen and this series by H.C. Newell. I have the first 2 books here, and I love the covers of these 2. Just absolutely beautiful. And a series I've been really interested to try out. And then we have In the Orbit of Sirens by T.A. Bruno is another one I grabbed. I've got the first 2 or 3 books in this series as well. And I've had them for a bit, just have not been able to get to them yet. So there are so many more books. Way too many more books in all of these categories that I have. All kinds of more self-pub. I have probably way more of the bit older fantasy stuff than I need. Series ongoing, series I just want to get to. These are just some examples. Like I said, this is by no means intended to be this is specifically what I'm reading. But like I said, I think just about everything that I'll be reading will fit into one of these categories because this is really what I'm focusing on. And of course, I may throw a random book in here or there, but I've been kind of, this has been working well because I've been splitting. So when I wasn't sure what I wanted to read, I threw in, I started Magic of Recluse, and started on that series on audio while I was reading some other stuff. And then like with Snakewood, I'm like, hey, I can do all 3 formats, so I'll do that one to get through quick. And then after that one, I'll probably be in the mood for something a little lighter, do kind of that. Mixing in Discworld has been really nice as well, too, just because, man, I missed Discworld. I didn't realize it had been probably 6 months since I'd read a Discworld book, at least. And I'm almost halfway through the series. So it's one of those things that I was never reading them super regularly, but they're books that I enjoy and want to continue more. And some of these series and just books that I've meant to get to for, in some cases, literally years. Some of these I've had for a really long time, or have had one copy or another. Like I said, with Second Chronicles of Thomas Covenant, I had these in mass market paperback for a long while before upgrading, still have got to. And actually, Lord of the Isles, I had a mass market paperback I've had for I don't even know how many years, and then I ended up finding book 2 in hardcover, so I ended up upgrading to hardcover of book 1, and yeah, it's been a long time, so many books, so many things I wanted to get to, and so that's kind of what I'm doing. And as a part of this too, I've been a lot more liberal with DNFing and being really opening myself to just DNFing if I'm not enjoying something as well. But so far, for the most part, I've had a pretty good year, but I've had some DNFs as well. And I'll kind of, if I end up DNFing something, I'll mention it and talk about things, which I don't remember if I talked about it. Maybe at the end of the year I'll do one of those every book I DNF'd, because this might be the first year I have enough to do something like that. We'll see. But yeah, I'm being more open to the DNF as well, because I have so many things to read. Focusing on reading what I have and just looking at when I tried to be like, okay, let's find some categories. Maybe 3 categories. Oh no, 4 categories. I ended up with 6 categories for this video, and easily finding a couple of books each and knowing that there were so many more I could have interchanged in here. So a lot of stuff to get through, and I'm looking forward to just really focusing on what I have. Not really getting as many books, so I'll definitely should be less book haul videos this year. But I'm looking forward to really just getting in and reading stuff that I have. So anyway, that is it. Let me know if you've got any specific reading plans or categories or things that you want to do too, or if you've got any thoughts here, or if you have a book you think is in one of these categories that I probably have or that I have that you definitely think I should bump up. Definitely let me know as well, because I'm always open to bribery. Now, ideally, it'll just be something that I have that you're trying to convince me to read versus something that I'll have to get, ideally, if possible. So let me know in the comments. Always love hearing from everyone. That's it for this one, though. Make sure to give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Check the link in the description, as always, for the Wizardly Enclave Discord if you want to chat books, whether any of these books, other books, really anything at all. It's a lot of fun, and we'd love to have you. And, of course, if you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe.